Hello folks, Typhoon Carter here, and I bring to you DPP Invitational. This is play-ins Diamond Bracket Round 1 between Triangles and Eduardo Carapinga, also known as Don Eduardo, also known as Kenix. So Triangles coming in here with a Jirachee lead, and Kenix coming in here with a Heatran lead. This Jirachee set could be a couple things here. We could be looking at Scarf Jirachee with like U-turn, rocks, with like Iron Head and like Trick, that kind of thing. Or it could be something just like Utility Jirachee, like not choice locked. There's like some variations you can do with Jirachee, but Kenix with the lead Heatran could be Specs, could be like, you know, Sash Heatran. Heatran here gets rocks up, so Triangles obviously did not want to stay in against this Heatran for any good reason. And the Gastrodon here indicating some kind of fat stall team from Triangles. Usually these Gastrodon squads have something like a mag in the back. I remember Laurel brought something against Void that's like akin to that, like with the Gastrodon, and then you had like SD Celebi with like a Sucker Punch, Seed Bomb, and then like a mag to support it because of the Skarmory matchup. So yeah, there's gotta be some kind of trapper in the back. But Heatran here obviously can also run Hidden Power Grass, but there's like no guarantee that it might be that. So Triangles does switch out, scouts it, and what do you know, it is in fact a Hidden Power Grass, and this Gliscor is brought out. It is going to threaten this Heatran with an EQ, but has to be careful of taking significant damage from something like a Fire Blast if it's Sash, or even like a Will-O-Wisp. That would be really devastating for the Gliscor. And the Gliscor, we don't know how fast this Gliscor is, but usually defensive Gliscors are at least 280 speed. That said though, and we have a bit of clock going down here. Kenix using his timer a little bit. So this is like the first real slowdown. A couple things to note is that Kenix is the underdog going into this matchup, and Gyarados is swapped out here, and Triangles knows that Kenix can't really swap in very easily, so he's going to get rocks up. But this Gyarados is going to threaten Gliscor, and this Gliscor unlikely has Thunderfang. And that said though, whew. But if you're Kenix here, I mean, you can probably just let a Waterfall rip into this Gliscor. Celebi is the Gyarados answer of choice. Again, we don't know how fast this Celebi is. It's probably like 245 Celebi. Like that's like super defensive into this Gyarados. And it could friend a T-Wave, but if it's like something like sub DD, then this Celebi could be a little bit annoyed. And yeah, Triangles doesn't want to risk the possible sub from Kenix, is just going to click Grass Knot. So that Grass Knot did decent amounts of damage. This Heatran is going to come in on the Celebi, and Celebi is naturally going to be threatened out by this Heatran. Obviously he can't really switch into the Gastrodon because it showed Hidden Power Grass. So if your Triangles, this is a bit of an awkward spot. I mean, you have to have something. I mean, if he had a Clefable, I feel like he should have brought it out by now as like the Heatran check. Gastrodon is going to be sent out, so Fire Blast here does moderate amounts of damage, like a little over 25%. But the Gastrodon obviously can't stay in. Gliscor is swapped in, trying to pivot around it. Instead gets met with a Fire Blast to the face. So this Gliscor is in real danger of possibly going down, but Triangles, you could EQ here if it's like Sash Heatran. And for Kenix, like, he's only revealed 2 pokes so far, so he's in a great spot right now. And the other thing here is, as per what Kenix's team might be, he's only revealed the Heatran, and the Gyarados is probably like some kind of generic like Heatran offense. Sometimes these Heatrans do run taunt, like for what it's worth, but if you have like Fire Blast, Hidden Power Grass, and all that, then it's like, don't know about that, right? And yeah, these guys really Kenix really taking his time trying to think about how he wants to approach this. And Hidden Power's here, so the Gliscor turns out to be slower, interesting. So yeah, Kenix probably deduced it, like that's probably why he used so much time. And oh, it's shown to be Shuka Berry. So Triangle's his Magnezone, which was Scarf, most certainly. Tried to Hidden Power Ground to counter trap the Heatran. Instead, Triangles is going to be at a early deficit right now, and already forced to show his full team. This is probably, this Clefable tells me it's probably like some kind of Calm Mind Clefable, because again, if this was especially defensive Clefable with like, you know, T-Wave knock Seismic Toss, then I think he would have sent it out much sooner against this Heatran. But if you're Kenix, like you're in a great spot right now. I think Triangles might have been trying to target. Yeah, this team feels a little bit too iffy for my taste, but it's going to entirely depend on the Clefable set. And Kenix in game chat saying Blood really loves BCS. Kenix is going to pivot out to Metagross, which is naturally going to threaten the Clefable, whether that's through Meteor Mashing or just like an explosion. There's obviously the Jirachee that, you know, Kenix has to be wary about, so he can't quite click Explosion freely yet. But if it's like Rock's Heatran, like, I'd say like a Ghost in the back is possible. Oh, the other thing though is that this team is like a little bit iffy into like sub Gengar, so I think Kenix has to have a Pursuiter on this squad. Gastrodon is going to be sent out here, and no Mash Raise, but Gastrodon doesn't really want to stick around, and it's probably going to be forced to recover against this Metagross, but there's obviously the fact that the Metagross can always click Explosion at any point in time. Heatran is going to be sent out here. Recovers, so naturally we already know the Heatran showed Hidden Power Grass, so again, Triangles once again can't really stay in here. But Triangles' only real Heatran option right now is Clefable, and yeah, that's like his only real play at the moment. He's going to Clefable. Yeah, this is like just like Gastrodon plus like Mag Fat, and then Fire Blast misses there, unfortunate, so we don't quite know what the Clefable spread is. Fire Blast here, oh, that is physically defensive Clefable, so that Fire Blast did way too much for it to be specially defensive Clefable. Yeah, no, Triangles does not have a great way to actually deal with this Heatran, besides trying to PP stall or hope to God that the Fire Blast miss. If Kenix landed that Fire Blast sooner, then the game was like super over. And the Heatran still has not shown its last move. So like, if it's Explosion, you can always click Explode, but I don't think that'd be the best move because of the fact that like it looks so good into the rest of Triangles' team that you probably want the Heatran around. And yeah, so Kenix taking a bit of a pause yet again. And I'm just gonna take a quick moment to say that, oh, Gengar is sent out, but as I was saying, if you guys want to donate, feel free to click the link in the description below. We have a donation link if you want to increase this tournament's prize pool. Again, donate what you can donate. And Gengar Focus Blast here misses. And Clefable showing be Calm Mind, yeah, that checks out because of the fact that it took so much from that Fire Blast earlier that it's like physically defensive. Clefable. Metagross is going to be sent out here, naturally threatens this Clefable. And Triangles definitely does not want to mess around and find out, as they'd say. Gastrodon sent out. Oh, PVC messaged me asking me if he can join, so I'll probably have him join for game 2. Anyways, yeah, so this Gastrodon Waterfalls here is probably like Curse, Waterfall, EQ, Recover, Gastro. That's usually what this runs. But this Ladia is probably like Scarf. Could be Choice Specs, but I would assume it's Scarf because like your matchup against the DDers outside Metagross is like really shaky otherwise. Healing Wishes does in fact happen. Heatran's gotta be sent out here. Heatran back to full health, so it's going to be a massive threat to... Oh, okay, so nice click by Kenix here, like just HP grassing, saving his Fire Blast PP. Lands one here, so he's gotta land another one to like really take this Clefable out. Gastrodon is swapped out. So yeah, Triangles is really trying to play the long... Ooh, that is not great. That crit Fire Blast means that Triangles no longer can really try to play around the Gastro as reliably, but Triangles is forced to go Jirachee. He's probably going to try and... Okay, gets the Wish up, so... Guy's just hitting powers again, just saying like, yeah, you know what, I'm not gonna bother trying to Fire Blast through a Protect. So yeah, right now Triangle's trying to like play around, you know, Heatran Fire Blast PP specifically. Bi-Slam's here. Kenix probably just trying to fish for a Meteor Mash raise because EQ normally doesn't quite do enough to Jirachee, especially if this is Fizz Dev Rachi for that matter. That being said though, Triangles does not have a great win path. I think this game hinges more on Kenix potentially choking. That's like probably the only way Triangles gets out of this handily, or he gets like a lot more RNG going his way. Like the Gengar is like a huge threat now, especially with the Gastrodon being super low, and then the Clefable can't really take a hit. And Jirachee protects here. Yeah, Kenix, no reason to switch out as far as I'm concerned. Iron Head's here, like gets flinched, okay, cool. Yeah, Triangles is like way too behind right now, so that's why he's Iron Head flinching. He realizes, hey look, I really need this Metagross out the picture, and does not get what he's looking for, but he can just protect again. And then, like, yeah, so what you can do here is protect here, and then try to Iron Head flinch. Not only to wear down the Metagross, but also to try and... Oh, gets crit there, so... Never mind, I was gonna say he could try to, like, Iron Head flinch the Metagross to, like, get more healing, but, I think Triangles would have otherwise lived that. But even if you got past the Metagross, you still need, like, an actual plan against the Heatran, even though it's used up quite a few Fire Blast PP. If your Triangles, I mean, you can try to send out the Celebi if you have Hidden Power Fire, like, now's probably the time to show it, but I highly doubt the Celebi has it. Who knows, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Yeah, so, Yunyan sent out, and yeah, it hasn't shown much. Grass Knot's here. Does a moderate amount of damage to the Metagross, like not a whole lot, but it's like meaningful damage. Heatran is going to be swapped out here. His Heatran's probably faster, and oh, interesting decision to explode there. Yeah, I don't know what... Yeah, okay, I'm not sure what Kenix is doing there. Feels like he's playing with his food too much. Crunches here doesn't... but it should do a significant amount of chip damage. Yeah, Grass Knot's here. Kenix can probably just win with the Gengar now, provided he does not get absurdly unlucky. Well, actually no, there is a way, but like it involves triangles, like needing to dodge like a bunch of focus blasts. If this is Taunt Gengar, which it could be, then you know, triangles is like super cooked, because that means that you can't really soft boil with the Clefable, and then like since it's Calm Mind Clef, like if you have Ice Beam, then you need to not only hope the Focus Blast misses, you also need to like probably fish for a freeze. So yeah, it really comes down to the Gengar. Yeah, so Triangle slowing down, uses timer, probably trying to think about how he's gonna handle this, and yeah, it gets taunted there. And again, oh yeah, I didn't really give a background on these players, but Triangle is an amazing ADV player, but he's also like a solid DPP player as well. Kenix, more of a GSC mainstay, also a respectable RBY player. He's like generally one of those guys who's like very naturally talented at the game all-rounder, but DPP isn't really his home turf per se. Anyways, yeah, so this Gengar lands the Focus Blast. We know it was physically defensive Clefable, so it's always going to get dropped by that. And then, yeah, so Kenix is going to take game one, just click Shadow Ball and then go about your day, that kind of thing. And yeah, I'm going to, once this game formally wraps up, I'm going to get PDC on the mic here and get him on call. Sends out the Sulby, it's just gotta die to S-Ball. And yeah, that should wrap that up. Kenix wins game one. I'm going to pause real quick. See joining me in here on the call as we are waiting for Kenix and Triangles to start, and oh, they just started right now.
Yep.
Yeah, so Triangles with a Breloom versus Roserade lead from Kenix. Wait, what set are you thinking Triangles is probably loading here?
You know, Triangles, I assume he's going with offense after game one, because that stall team, I think he misplayed quite a bit with defense. So my guess is this is probably either a Sash Loom lead or a Scarf Loom lead. Yeah. I did give Triangles a pace of most of my teams, so it's possible that this is one of my own, like the Melodic build. Yeah. But yeah, there's a Scarf Loom Spore, pivot into Metagross. Okay, yeah. So this, let me actually see, because there is a good chance that I am the one who gave him this team, so I can give some insight here. All right. Possible, but yeah, this looks like one of the. Oh, nice. Okay, I don't think this is actually my version. It might be, I don't know. But this looks to be like probably one of the Gyarados, like Scarf Lead Loom, Meta, Gyara T-Wave, probably like Lottie in the back balances that Crystal and Osgood were really pioneers of. And I guess Carapinga is probably just using T-Spike's Bow with probably Tran, Tar, Lottie, Jira, Car.
But the meta with like a mash raise here, but Kenix should still be chilling, although he does have to like respect the possible boom attempt here. Yeah,
I think that if I were Triangles, this is it's okay. Yeah, there's Gyara. Yeah, I would not have quaked there. I think you know that he's going to either Loom or he's going to something like that's going to resist Quake. Yeah. Yeah, he should have just got rocks up there, I think. And there's DD. Okay, are we going to see a Roar? Because I think this is probably sub.
Oh, this might be Scarf Latias if Kenix was like willing to switch in like that. Is this Whack and Gyro? Like, how likely do you think this is Whack and Gyro?
It's either Lum sub. I think it's Lum usually on teams like these. Okay, so there's Trick, there's Lum. I would have Waterfalled probably, but I don't really like Scarflati on like the Rose Raid type builds because I think that opens you up. Really, like you lose a lot of breaking power that you would have otherwise, especially when your win con is probably Combine Jira or Gar. I'd rather have Specs Lottie because you can force a T-Tar early. And there's Triangles as T-Tar. Okay, so Tar, probably Scarf Lottie of his own. Scarf Gera actually is quite scary for
Kenix.
Eduardo.
Yeah, because he can just click Waterfall here onto, like, even the Rosary isn't really a Waterfall resist.
Yeah, and also Scarf Loom is probably outspeeding everything now. And he's probably going to have a Gar or probably Gengar.
Yeah, you got back here, and Rotom wouldn't really make sense here, I think.
Yeah, Gengar, Combine Jira, I think, is the likely last two, which really, like, Scarf Gera really does numbers on Kenix's team here. Okay, there's the Loom, and we'll see a Quake. Okay, fair. And Loom doesn't need to be preserved here at all. You could just...
Superpower here?
Honestly, like... I think Superpower is fine, yeah, because C-Bomb is doing, like, 36 or so to Gengar if it comes in. And... yeah, like okay, yeah, there's attack. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I would just Superpower again. I don't think you need to really. You could swap to. That's definitely fine. Oh, jeez.
San will do it in though.
Yeah, but I think you can now basically just. Because Metagross should be able to live probably one Lava Plume too, although I want to keep it for Gar and Jira. So you could really go to Scarf Gera here and just like force a Roserade and get the sack out of the way. Or you just force Pert to die. Okay, that's also fine too. Either way.
And Triangles is last, like, there's probably like another floater, so like maybe like a D-Knight in the back, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think teams like this, usually they can run a bit slower because I'm assuming that might be Iron Ball trick meta. I didn't see lefties on it. The thing about like the lead loom style offenses is that, well, one, they're usually physical. I know that Crystal had a team, I think Machamp, with like a similar structure a few SPLs ago. I'm also imagining that Triangles probably has a Healing Wisher like Lottie. Lottie's usually really good on these teams the last slot because it is able to give you speed and Healing Wish on a sweeper. And then either SD Sizz or Jirachee. I would say those are kind of likely. SD Sizz would be okay. Yeah, that's yeah. Okay, if he's Tar, Lance's Gar, that's. I would scout for Kustap and just go meta here because you don't need to, but.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Like I would not risk this. Scarf Gera.
You won't like get burned by like a Kustap if he happens to have it, but.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is pretty easy for Triangles. I really like the style of team that Triangles is running. I'm not a huge fan of Kenix's build. I think that like these types of hazard driven teams without a serious offensive, either like forward or a defensive backbone, I think they're really just kind of limiting. Like I understand Gengar and Tran are, powerful offensively, but alone without spikes in a metagame where T-Spikes is, assuming he has T-Spikes, which we don't know for sure, but assuming he has T-Spikes, okay, there's a Sizz. It just doesn't feel
There's also
that.
There's always the Clefable issue with T-Spikes. Like, I would never run T-Spikes nowadays, unless it's like those Needle Queen, like, plus Osgood Rachi style teams.
Yeah. I think Roserade, I use the Roserade build with T-Spikes in deep, it's Shuka. Oh. And it lives, and it's, oh my god, that is brutal. Another good see, a problem is that another good reason as to why you need more of an offensive, I think that might have been a defensive Tran instead of like a max attack Lava Plume, because I think that would have killed. His last is going to be Gar, I assume. I would just yeah, bullet punch and then win with waterfall. But yeah, the problem I have with teams like Phoenix is that they lack the offensive power to really sufficiently break.
Yeah.
And also, like, defensively, these things also just, yeah, they just fall apart to a more defensive team. What do you think we're going to see for a game 3, assuming that last Mon Gengar doesn't sweep here?
Let's see. I mean, Kenix loaded like just offense, and then like some very old school Rose, Fire, Water, Grass Core balance. From Kenix, I'm not really sure. Like maybe he'll probably just load something that he's comfortable with. That's kind of just how Kenix always does things. As for triangles, I mean, you could go with like a different route for Fat, but I'm not really sure. And oh, it's Rotom last.
Okay, so then it's I guess that was a dual scarf.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, now I really, because this team needs.
Yeah, this looks like he took like a build that Christos made and then kind of like made some slight adjustments with it. That's kind of what it reminds me of, like especially with, like this.
Yeah, like I guess it's Cibitar, because if it's not Cibitar, dual scarf is not great, especially dual scarf.
Oh, okay.
Where, okay, but he's locked in the trick now, so
it's awkward, but
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
I guess I mean that's whatever, but I think this probably is the end of this. Okay.
Saying Owen.
Yeah, this is just classic. Okay. Wait a minute. What is happening here? Okay. Okay, just that has. Please don't para. Okay, nice. At least we get a game 3. That was a kind of an absurd exchange, because really you could have just tricked and then swapped out, assuming you outspeed Scarf Tom. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. No, actually, no. You almost I guess you don't if you're absolute minimum speed. So that was difficult. Yeah. But yeah, I don't like Kenix's team because it's just dual scarf is never breaking defense. Yeah. It's probably good against offense, but as we saw here, it didn't really work when it's beyond the standard like Azelf HO type of build where all you really need is one layer of T-spikes to neuter breaking power. So I don't know. Game 3, I think Triangles is probably more comfortable with running offense. So I don't know. The thing is that both of these builds, I like Triangles, but Kenix's builds are just kind of outdated. Yeah. So we'll see what he brings. It'll also be good to get an analysis from the league matchup as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even before going into this series, who did you personally think was going to take this? Like, before they kind of just RFN'd?
I would side with Triangles. I think Triangles, not only does he have more of a team builder, I think that he plays the tier more, and like he's practiced with me and Osgood over the span of many of years in the tier. And Triangles is also just a generally solid old gens player. Anything even Gen 5 included, I think Triangles has a good handle on the mechanics of non-team preview gens, and I don't think he's like exceptional at the game. Like, I mean, by game, I mean like at the tier, Diamond and Pearl, he's an incredible ADV player. But I think he has the fundamentals down. And from playing him in DPPL, he is not somebody who I would think, okay, like I can just stall him 3 games in a row and win. So he's also liable to bring out very surprising and interesting builds, as we saw. I liked his game 2 team more than his game 1 team, but I understand the vision.
Yeah, because like Kenix is more somebody who's just like general good pilot. I mean, he was like on my DPP PL team, and I kind of just like, it was like me and like Christos, we kind of just slid him some like simple stuff that like he was like okay with. It was like just balance or like offense. That's kind of like what Kenix is fine with. He's like, again, he's like one of those players who will pilot whatever's given to him. I don't, for the record, I did not give him either of the game 1 or game 2 team, so I'm not sure what Kenix will bring out.
Yeah. I think that One thing I've noticed lately in DPP is that there has been, I will say one thing you can instantly notice is, and it's not really evident between these two players to a high degree, but when you're, I've played DPP for a while, when you're playing somebody who's using a very predictable team archetype, the game really becomes just so much easier from your end, which is why I feel like when you are playing in, where you could potentially get an advantage or something like DPP Invitational, it's worthwhile to want to vary your team structures to a degree where you can't just telegraph it from like the first maybe 5 turns. Like, for example, Triangles' offense is like expected, but it's unorthodox enough where you aren't sure whether his last is going to be a Scarf Lottie or whether it's going to be, like another fighting type or whatever, or another offensive steel type, triple steel, whether it could be Mamoswine. But with, Kenix's team, game 1 was more varied, although I think his offense was missing some pieces, which I think it should have had. But game 2 is just like, okay, well, like, I know exactly what you're running. Yeah. And while I don't know if Triangles is, as knowledgeable DPP to make that happen, from like game 3 or 4, if you're playing somebody like a Void or a BKC, I see Rosary and then I see Swap into Pert, it's like, okay, well, I can with almost certainty guess the rest of your team, with maybe just like a difference in like, are you running a Scarfer on this set, or are you running Choice Specs, or is it Gar, Rotom, are you running Jira? It's like you understand what their goal and their win condition is going to be.
Yeah, for sure, and I probably would have like assumed that Kenix's Heatran, especially considering how outdated it looked, like maybe it might have been like, like Sub-Tran or like Torment Tran if you're into that. I remember We Free Kings ran something like this in SPL with like Sub-Tran again. I think it was like against John, if I remember correctly. But yeah, like
I'll check up the replay. Actually, I think that I am fine with using old style reliable builds. In fact, I think that sometimes like old style stall is a bit underrated, and it's actually, I'd say it's making a comeback even. But sometimes I'll see a build and I'm just like, there are better alternatives to that, and I would rather a person, or rather a build that I'm using at least have more unpredictability in the tournament. Not just unpredictability, but being able to
mix them up,
have a structure which isn't so linear, and being linear is not bad. I've run like every Zelf HO is very linear for the most part. T-Spikes builds are linear, but
like Zap, but you can like use your tech stuff with that. Like I've done like Big 5 Flygon, or okay, maybe I'm using the term Big 5 a little too liberally, but here's game 3. Let me just pull that up.
Oh no.
Oh my
god.
Oh, Kenix.
Alright, so
Beagle, question is whether this Zapdos is like if this is like turbo like mono zap with sub, then Kenix is kind of cooked, I'm not gonna lie.
My guess is it's Paraspam from Triangles. My guess is he's running. I feel like Paraspam from him with probably like a Rhyperior Loom build is
like the fakes one.
I think that's within the comfort to him, and I think that Kenix with Smeargle, like, look, I can't tell you exactly what the team's going to be, but it's probably like close to that Shing build where it's going to be. I mean, it's going to be hyper offense. So we'll see what the actual rest of the team is. It's going to be probably like DD Tar, SD, Sizz, something along those lines. Maybe a Scarf Healing Wish user like Lottie or Jira. But if Triangle subs here, he's going to have a huge advantage, which is why I think I would just get Hazards up. Because if you get a sub here, I mean, I would rather be able to guarantee Rock Spikes and have my Scarf Tom in the back to prevent the Starmie spin, which is probably on Triangle's team.
Yeah. This might be. I think Triangles has brought this before. This is probably like Specs Zap.
Yeah. Either Specs or like, I don't think Max Modest can do that much if it's a max HP with Spadef invested Smeargle. Actually, I don't know. Maybe it can.
I mean, it went down to the sash, and like it's a Smeargle.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, Triangles can either hard Starmie on here and then just threaten spin and use Surf.
Which ghost do you think Kenix is running? Because like you have to.
Scarf Tom. I think Scarf Tom is the fair pick because it frees you from a Scarfer slot and gives you anti-spin. Okay, so they're
like switching. Oh wait, oh Scizor. This is like
Scarf.
Yeah, this is Scarf. I think I remember playing against C in like Royal Peel, and he ran like I might recognize the 6. Oh, Pursuit's here. Oh, nice. Colbert.
That is a Scarf Sizz. Okay, let's see. I guess it's going to be Sleep Talk Zapdos. So if I were Kenix, I would just pivot back to Smeargle here on the Sleep Talk. You see, oh my goodness. That was fair. I would not have went and Rotom there. It didn't make much sense to me. Yeah. Okay, there's Rocks. So, I mean, this is going to be this type of build. I really don't like Smeargle offenses because Smeargle it can be such a do-nothing Pokemon. Oh, yeah, but sometimes you luck out and, you face a team which can't absorb Spore well.
Oh yeah, no, I agree, because like I remember like trying to make a Smeargle build, and I'm just like, dude, this, like almost every take I did, I was like so annoyed with it. And oh, there's the Fire Blast there, and gets a burn. That's unfortunate.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah. That's actually really... Well, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world because you had Starmie, but if I don't know, that's not great for Kenix because he loses the swap, I guess. So if it's going to be Scarf Sizz, Scarf Tom, that could be interesting because now, I mean, we're probably seeing from...
Do you think he has a mix in the back on this build?
I could see it. I could see a Mixgon. I mean, like, he needs to have some other setup sweeper besides Jirachee. I think an offensive Mixgon with Outrage would be pretty good because it can neuter Clef and catch Laddie by surprise.
Yeah.
Could also be a Kingdra. I think RD Kingdra would be nice here. But again, the problem is, with a team like this, versus like hard defense, unless you really get Smeargle to do a lot of work, it can be incredibly difficult to break because you're going to lack a T-Wave Absorber. If you're running 2 Scarfers, especially one without Trick, then that's really tough.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's speculating about Scarf Jira because I'm guessing his lasts are going to be Loom and probably it could be Flygon. It could be Empoleon. Actually, this trend. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, like sub agility, like Pataya Empole.
Yeah, Loom Jira, Loom Jira, Loom Jira, or Loom Jira.
I think you can do a DDR on this take too, but
yeah, I don't know what I mean, you go Sizz here, Sizz on the Loom, okay.
Yeah, so
this is an easy block for
like you just U-turn into like sack the Smeargle and then like go from there.
Yeah, I'm assuming Triangles' last is going to be Jirachee, or it could be... If this is Subloom, that could be interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see a sub. Probably, yes. Okay. Interesting.
I think this is early Subloom, like 262. That's definitely like a spread that I've been like a fan of in recent times.
Yeah. Okay, Spore into Lum. Yep. Oh, okay. All right. That's probably interesting. Band?
Yeah, I'm willing to switch in like that. Okay, Rotom.
Yeah.
Nice pivot.
All right. I mean, I guess last is probably going to be something along the lines of DDTAR.
Yeah.
I think that the momentum aspect of Kenix's team is interesting, but I always have a problem with teams that rely so much on, a Pokemon is just useless as Smeargle. Because like I said, it can really be beneficial in matchups where the fastest Pokemon you're facing is 236 Jirachee.
Yeah.
Or otherwise, like, you're better off using a Pokemon like Aerodactyl or Azelf, or Lead Meta or Empoleon.
Or like even like lead Suicide Scarm on these.
Yeah, that's also like it probably would have done less than Smeargle here, I guess, because you have Zapdos and you don't want to get rocks. But like, I don't know. Either way, I'm not a huge fan of the type of Smeargle offenses that I know Shing is a big fan of. especially one which really I don't see it having.
I think Laurel is also, Laurel was also a pretty big fan of those. And okay.
All right, there's suit.
Yeah.
Into Sizz, U-turn.
Yeah.
I mean. Oh.
Okay.
I kind of understand that.
I don't hate that because like you look at, but like Triangles has to have a second steal.
Yeah, he's going to be Jira, and he's not going to be Scarf Jira. Because now what you're doing here is you're either putting Sizz in the definite death range. Because look, after that Knight is probably not waking up, so you could have at least pivoted the U-turn where you block me, block Tar, block Loom.
Oh, it's meta gross.
All right.
What meta do you think? Is this like trick meta? Do you think he's bringing that again, or is this like Custap, or like a?
Seeing that he had Scarf Tran, I feel like Scarf meta here is not excellent. There's Bug Bite, there's Shuka, there's Agility.
Okay. Sure.
So, what do we think? I mean, this could be it, because he also. I wonder what Kenix's last is, but my guess would be DD-Tar or Gera. Probably DD-Tar, because dual SR weak with no spinner is kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of
risky when your fastest Mun is Smeargle. You know, Rocks is probably going up. Into your, if you're running Zelf, it's a different story, but I'm guessing T-Char. So really all Triangles has to do is just Quake twice, and he should be in the clear.
That's like the only way this could possibly go wrong for him. But like if you're Kenix, I mean, you probably have to fish for that.
Yeah.
Is Tar.
Yeah. To be fair, Tar lives a minimum. Okay, I get that, but I don't. I mean, he doesn't have priority that can block you. So the thing is,
did he? Did he? Was this a throw? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I think he EQs still, and if it's Tar, he just has to hit mash twice, and that should be it, if that. Because he doesn't have Bullet Punch on Scizor.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's gonna be superpower. So he just Quakes here, unless for some reason he does not have Earthquake, which I
surprise, like unless it's like something weird like T-Punch plus Explosion, but I highly doubt that.
Yeah, that would be terrible. But I mean, I've seen weirder. I'm not really.
I've definitely seen some weird throws before.
Yeah, my issue with this is that Metagross just doesn't fit well here, in my opinion. I mean, we have yet to see the set, but the big issue is that I would rather have Jirachee here because Agility Metagross seriously has issues with breaking power. And okay, he's Ice Punch, Quake. Okay, are we gonna see DD-Tar last?
Yeah, I mean, if it's DD-Tar, you have to like. I mean, you need like 8 million things to like Triangles would have to like quite literally not EQ and then like allow the DD-Tar to like somehow get. Actually, yeah, no.
He just mashes here.
Oh.
Okay, if it's
Shuka, then chance? Question mark.
Empoleon lives if it's Jolly. If it's Adamant, it still might live. So this really depends a lot on the set. If this is a Swords Dance Empoleon, then he A-Jets, and we'll see where that goes. But Earthquake might not even kill this. So this is like, I think he has a
Pataya, okay.
Okay.
Wait, but
all right, if that's gonna be it. That's
yeah. Wait, I mean, it depends on the Loom, right?
Yeah, he can. Well, he could outspeed Spore, and then go for a sub after sporing twice, which is okay. T-Wave, maybe. What do you?
Wait, what?
I don't know. I think you have to try. If he's going for the choke here, as in spin.
Oh,
and he surfs, and then Loom is faster.
Oh, he's saying he loses, so maybe his Loom is like slow Loom.
How much did Loom? Just reset the match by accident. How much did Loom take from? Okay, T-Bolt into.
Oh.
All right,
Oh. Okay.
I don't know why he.
Okay, we're trying. Wait, what? Okay, I mean.
I don't fully. All right. I don't. I don't know about that.
That was a stretch.
I would have at least. Yeah, I would have at least tried if I were Triangles to try and see if Loom. Well, I mean, you know, he knows his spread. If he wasn't faster, he wasn't faster, which is fair.
Yeah.
So if Triangles was not that fast of a Loom, then it would have been inconsequential anyway.
Yeah.
But if he was potentially, you know, over 219 speed Loom, you know, it would have been worthwhile sporing, double sporing, hoping for a 3-turn sleep, subbing, and then trying to win that way.
Right.
But I mean, you know, what are you gonna do?
But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and Kenix is gonna walk away with this 2-1. And thanks for joining me after game one. Appreciate you having you on the mic with me. And as per usual, if you guys enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and consider donating to increase the tournament's prize pool. Link will be in the description. That being said though, was there anything else you want to say before we close this out?
I'm looking forward to a really good tournament. I mean, if the first 3 games of the tour are indicative of anything, there's a lot of variation that you can see in the tier. We saw Smeargle and Gastrodon within 3 matches. DPP is a really interesting metagame, and I think that it's being pushed forward at a lot higher speed than people give it credit for. And there's a lot of room for innovation, coming from someone who plays DPP a lot. So it should be a fun tour, and I'm really glad that I'm here to commentate it as well.
Yeah, and I will see you guys next time.